This is Rich with Rich Baum Photography with yet another subscriber's photo edit where people send me in photos which are usually consisting of a flash shot, an ambient shot, and maybe a window shot. And I'm taking submissions from people, and today this submission is from Murray Birch. And Murray sent me in, this is his final shot, which I think it's really nice. I think he did a great job. I think that this is just perfect for MLS, and I'm going to do the edit from his raw photos, and my edit's going to be probably a little different than his, but let's just start going through his images. So he sent me this. This is a flash frame, this is his overall flash frame. Now I think he did a really good job here. I think the exposure's good. I think that the window's pretty good. I can say though that the one thing he did, if you look at the composition he did here and then the finished image, he really cropped in tight here, which I'm not opposed to people cropping in tight, but just look at what he's missing. He's missing this ceiling fan, which actually I think I like to always include, if I can, include it into the shot, because that's a that's a little piece of the selling point. And also I want to see this right window and also this right couch. I think that this is shot at 17 millimeters. I think that that's fine. I don't think you need to really crop in that tight, but to each his own. So I'm going to take this flash shot and I'm going to take this ambient shot. I'm sorry, this is the window shot, where he has overexposed the frame, which is what we want to do. Overexpose the chair, the frame, everything that's over in front of this window is overexposed from this image. So you can put it in darken mode and you can just paint right over this. That's great. He also, though, did another shot for this right window. And actually, looking at this flash shot, once I do my full bump to it or my special sauce, I don't think we're going to really need to have both windows in darken mode. Here's the other one, and the only problem he's got with this darken mode here is if you tried to use it from here, this is darker because it's shadowed by this table from his light over here. So if I was going to do darken mode for this window, I would probably come around to over here and point it this way, directly at the window. So I would get this all overexposed. So, I mean, it's hard to say unless I do it, but we're not going to even use this darken mode shot because I don't think we need it. He also did this ambient shot, which I think is a good ambient shot. It may be a little underexposed. You can see down here in the histogram. When we fix it, I will show you what I would have it at. But we can fix it after the fact, but we always like to try and get the proper exposure in the shot. He has another image that is ambient that is overexposed, and I just think that this is losing what I want. So I'm going to take this ambient shot. Let's just start with this ambient shot. I'm going to go into develop, and I have put, if you notice, I put a star here, a star here, and a star here. That is how I designate what images I'm going to use. If I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 images, and I only will need to use 2 or 3, I'm going to put a star by them. So that is how I know which ones I'm going to use. So let's just go in here and take out the highlight, and I'm going to bring up the exposure to about here. Okay? I'm also going to use in a little bit of saturation, and I'm going to go down here to dehaze, and I'm going to add in a little bit of dehaze to about 20%. And I've been doing that, adding dehaze to a lot of ambient shots lately, and I kind of like it. I don't use a lot, and I don't use it all the time, but I think it'll work here. Now let's go to the flash shot here, and let's just put in our full bump here. Now the full bump did a couple of things. One is, look at the window here now compared to the window in the flash darken mode shot. I'm sorry, that's the finished one. I apologize. let's go over here, and this is the darken mode. So if we compare this one, and if we compare back and forth, you know, actually, I don't even need to use this window shot because I think that I'd actually like this one better. So anyway, we've got the flash shot here, and the only issue with it is we can't use it for up here where we're seeing the reflection of the flash on the ceiling. So we got a good flash shot. Now let's take our window shot, and I'm going to do a full bump here for the window shot. And there we go, man. We can use the window shot for both sides. So, and actually we're going to use the flash shot for like in here because I like it. I think it's fine. So let's play with it. So we've got our flash shot, our window shot, and our ambient shot. Now let's compare our ambient shot, and I'd like people, especially that are starting out, to highlight the ambient shot and the flash shot and just go back and forth and think, what are we going to use the ambient shot for? I'm going to use the ambient shot up in here. I'm going to use it on these wooden beams up here, and I'm going to use it to give a little bit of shadow in here. I'm going to get rid of this shadow in here, get rid of this shadow in here, get rid of the shine and the reflection of the stove. So let's look at this ambient shot in reference to in here, and in here. So this is actually going to mask in pretty good, I think. Let's go back and forth a couple of times. Yeah, I'm fine with it. Okay, so let's now highlight all three images, and let's right click and open as layers in Photoshop. Okay, so again, you've got to read the instructions on these videos for submitting photos. All the photos, if you notice, he has his name. Oops, let's go back to here. If you notice, Murray has his name, and he has what frame it is. It's a flash frame. The next one is Murray Birch, window pull left, and then window pull right, and then finished image. Here's the finished. No, that's the window right. And that's the way I can tell which photos are which. Because as complicated as it is for you to know, it's harder for me because I wasn't there. So we've got this here. I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller. And I'm going to now highlight all three of the images. Go up into Edit and Align Layers. There you go. And I think it's really important, all these people's photos I'm doing, I need to align the layers, and most of them need it. You can see this one actually. Look up in the left-hand corner. You can see there's a little bit of this banding, this black and white banding, checkered banding. That shows you that it was out of alignment, so I would suggest using it. So now, let's look at this first frame. Is the flash frame. I know that. It says flash frame right here. That's why I need you to put your name and the flash frame on each of your images. So then I'm going to go the ambient and the window. So I want it in that order, and I'm just going to turn off the window, and I'm going to highlight the ambient, and I'm going to go down here and make a new layer mask. So let's start off with the issue. What I want to do here is I want to come in here, and I've got a soft brush at not 100% flow. Let's make it 6% flow. And a soft brush, you can see I've got it on white for paint. Okay. And now what I'm going to do is just paint out up in here. I'm just going to give it a little bit of shadow. There we go. Just a little bit. I'm going to bring in a little bit of ambient on these beams. Okay, now I want to bring in a little bit of ambient in here, a little bit of ambient in here, a little bit on these. Uh-oh, what do we have back there? What the heck is that? Ha 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 ha! We have a little tail of a dog. Well, I never saw that. I never saw that before. So, as a challenge of me is I can't use that part. So I'm going to hit X and erase that little bit right there of that little doggy tail. That's a first one for me. Okay, so no problem. we don't have it there. Now let's see here. Is the dog in this shot too? Nope, that's just the shovel for the fireplace. Okay, let's go in here. And again, I'm going to put it on X for white. I hit X and it toggles between white and black. Look here on the left. There we go. So I'm going to have white for paint in, and I'm going to paint in the ambient, which is going to hide that shadow. Great. And then let's get rid of that one in there too. There we go. Okay, a little bit of ambient in there. Let's get rid of that reflection in there. Okay, good. Little ambient in here. Get rid of that. Look at what I just did. Got the flash is making a shadow back here. So I'm bringing in the ambient there. Okay. Now let's go in here and let's put in a little bit of ambient. Put a little bit of ambient. I'm going to increase the size of my brush. A little bit of ambient in there. Just, you know, make it a little less flashy. That's really up to you. You know, do as little, as much as you like. Okay, so everything looks good up here. Here we go. Now, the other thing I'm going to do too is I notice there's a little bit of shine right here. So let's just make that the width of this and just go down here. Just free painting in here. There we go. Okay. I think this looks fine. And actually, I'm going to bring in a little more ambient in here. Good. Okay. Actually, I'm going to take out a little bit in here. Let's take out just a little bit here. Okay, good. Okay, if you'll notice, I'm switching between black and white, black and white. Black is erasing what I've done, and white is painting it in. Very helpful, okay? So, now let's go, and we're going to take in our, click on the window shot, turn that on, turn the window shot on, and let's do, make a new layer mask, hold down Option, add a new layer mask, and I want to make this in darken mode. So bring it right here, darken, and then I want to increase the flow to 100%. And you don't have to do that. You can try different amounts, okay? So I'm just going to bring my window over here, and this way I'm just going to paint over the window parts I want. But look, I can paint over the chair, and it's really not doing anything because the chair in this frame is in the window frame, and the window shot is brighter. So it's only going to pick up what is darker. There we go. Perfect. I like that. Okay. Now let's just go over here, and I'm just going to use the top left part of this. You can see that it's painting on the window frame there because the darken's not dark enough. But you know what? I'm just going to go down into 6% again. I'm just going to darken this down just a little bit from that same window shot. To bring this in here. And I don't really need much because actually the window looks pretty good. No problem. Okay. Awesome. Okay, so there we go. And there's my shot. I'm going to do one more thing. I am going to now flatten this with Control F, and I'm just going to add in a little something that he could have added very, very easily. Let's put a little fire in here. So we have it flattened those layers, okay, and now we just hit Shift and Command and N. Makes a new layer, and I don't even have to name it because we're just doing one new layer. And now we're going to do go to our pen tool, and we're going to select a path, and you can see up here it says path on my left. Make sure it doesn't say shape, make sure it says path. Okay, so we're going to do here, and then just randomized shot of fire. Okay, there we go. Now let's go up into filter, let's go to render and flame. Okay, 1, 2, 3. It's going to bring up my randomized length. And I really recommend that you play with all of these all of these settings so you can come up with what works for you. This has been kind of my go-to, so I'm just going to go OK. And it's going to do its thing in Photoshop, and then it's going to put the flame in there. Which the flame, you know, this really doesn't work. But what I need to do now is I want to get rid of that path I made there with the pen tool. So I just want to hit return, and it takes it away. Now what I want to do is hit Command T, which is going to make it transform. And what I want to do is make this smaller. So I'm going to hit Shift, hold down Shift, and drag in my corner. Now holding down Shift keeps it in the same aspect. So let's see if I like that. Now what I want to do is actually, now I'm not holding down Shift. I'm going to make this flames a little bit lower, a little wider here. Okay, and I'm going to actually rotate it a little bit left. Not so much. Forget it, it's fine. I don't want to play with it. Anyway, so now one thing more I'm going to do. Let's hit the check so we like where it is. I'm going to now hit screen mode, which it doesn't do much on this photo. If you had a fireplace screen, the screen mode can really help make it fit in better. Now I'm going to take the opacity and turn it down to about 54%. And there we go. And I want to do one more thing. I'm going to go back into Command T and transform that again. I'm just going to bring this down, bring it a little bit bigger. And this is really something that, oops, come on, move. There we go. This is something that you can just play with as little or as much as you like. And I'm just going to come here and get my eraser tool, which is right here. And I'm just going to erase at 6%, back to 6%. I'm just going to erase a little bit on the left. There we go. Just kind of make it fit in a little better. There we go. Okay, so actually I'm going to bring up the opacity just a little bit. Okay, so when you zoom out of there, if you didn't know, you know what? I think the flame generator is great. It is not perfect by any means, but it's fast and it's easy. So let's bring in this back, Command S and W. And I'm going to put this question out again for people. It is not a matter that it's taking too long. I am not having these images. Hold on a second. Let me just get out of this. I'm having trouble with my Outlook. There we go. There we go. Okay. Anyway, it's a long story with my Microsoft Outlook for Mac. Anyway, here's the image. It did come back because I didn't have it on. I took off my keywords. Anyway, so disregard that last statement. You know me, sometimes I get confused. Anyway, I've got my shot here, and what I want to do before I do any kind of adjustments on perspective, you see here, let's just first do this. If you want a grid to come up in Lightroom, all you have to do is hold down Option, Command, and O. And you can see this, and then if you hold down Command, you can move this here or move this one here. So let's move this over here, and let's look at this over here. We can see that this, oops, let's go out. Just, oops, shoot. Come on. Let's see here now. I really recommend you use the grid tool if you're not familiar with what verticals look like correct. But as you can see here, this vertical is incorrect and this one is very incorrect. So what we want to do is correct our verticals. But before we do that, now I'm going to hold down Option, Command, O. It's going to get rid of the grid. Now, what I want to do is just do the final bump over here. Let me make this a little smaller. There we go. Final bump there. Then it added a little contrast, and I like it. I think it looks really good. And we're going to compare his photo to mine. And the only other thing I'm going to do is go down. And the first thing I always do, and I've got to fix this verticals. I'm just going to use autocorrect, auto transform upright. There we go. And you know what? I'm going to do Option Command O again. And boy, that actually fixed it pretty good. Good enough for me. Okay, let's take that away. Now, the only thing I'm going to do now is to crop out just this doorway because it's bugging me. And I'm leaving in the ceiling fan up there. I also want to see as much as I can of these beams up here because we're buying the beams. We're not buying the furniture. We're buying this window or selling this window. We're not selling, just this right here. We want it to look, wider. I'd say you could even go wider on the shot. Maybe a little further right. See a little more of this couch. But you might have been up against a wall. So literally. So I'm going to highlight this shot. And then I'm going to highlight the finished shot of that Murray did, Murray Birch. Anyway, so let's make this a full screen, which if you want to know how to do a full screen, you just hold down Shift, Command, and you hit F and L. F is for full screen, and L is for lights out. So there we have my shot. Okay? And you know what? I think this shows some nice directionality coming from the window. Little bit of shadow here, little bit of shadow here. The fire, I think, looks more than adequate. The windows, I think, look really good. Maybe a little bit of blue tint out here. We could have changed that, but I'm totally fine with it. I like the shadows on the ceiling. So let's see what Murray did. I also like the shadow in here off this couch. It's got directionality. So let's go to Murray's shot. There's Murray's shot. So Murray now may have a little better windows. It's got some good stuff up here, but I'm not as crazy. It's a little flashy in my opinion from this direction, but it is very good, and I'm not ripping on Murray's shot in any way. So let's just go back and forth. And me personally, I want to see the room on the right and the ceiling fan. I don't think we need to crop it there. I think it's very valuable to see this right side and left side. The left side is pretty much left in by Murray, but I really impressed to leave in the right side and to show the ceiling fan and these beams, because this shot Murray did really doesn't emphasize the beams, and it doesn't show it over here. So anyway, let's hit Shift, Command, F, and L and get back out of there. Okay, and now I'm going to go to one more edit. Let's see here. I've got another shot that I didn't do yesterday by, who do we have here? Let's see, we've got Jon Lockwood. That's why, again, you need to put your name on this, because I can tell that this is the bathroom ambient shot down here, but John, you need to put on Jon Lockwood so I can tell who it is really quickly and easily. Anyway, so you guys got to help me, and I'm really not going to be accepting images unless they're done, done by the rules, because it's just too hard for me to do. So let's just make sure that this is reset to factory. So we have a directly out of camera bath, the ambient shot. We have the flash shot over here, okay? And then we have the finish shot, which I'm not going to go through the finish shot until we finish. So let's put a 1 star there, and let's put a 1 star there. And I really didn't need to do it because we're just dealing with 3 images or 2 images, but I like to show you guys, always put a star by what you need to work with, your favorite picks. So let's go back into the ambient, and let's see this now. I'm going to bring down the histogram. You'll see that this is kind of underexposed, and I'm just going to raise my exposure. First, I'm going to take down the highlights, and then I'm going to raise my exposure. And I'm not looking at what I'm doing on the right. I'm looking at the shot and looking at the histogram. And that looks about properly exposed for me. And the histogram looks really good. It's in the middle. It looks good. But now we're 80.80. We're almost a full stop overexposing. So the original shot is underexposed, in my opinion. So let's put it up to let's go up to 90. Okay, I'm just going to go 90. And there we go. That's good for the ambient shot. Okay, now let's take the flash shot and let's do our full bump with that. You don't have to do the full bump all the time. I just do it all the time because it seems to work for me. Excuse me. Taking a nice sip of water. Been drinking a lot of water lately. I don't know about you guys, but I got to drink water. Okay, so let's look at this shot. Now, well, my full bump adds 10% of an exposure. So I'm going to bring this up just a teeny little bit. And you look here that the flash shot was exposed really well. Now, we have a few issues here. So let's, before we go and compare to the ambient shot, let's look at this because I really want to impress that the whole goal here is to, as you're shooting, as you're editing, you've got to think of what parts of what are you going to use in your final shot, in your edit. So while we're in Lightroom, I want to look at this and say, well, we need to bring in the ambient here because you've got the shadows from the lights. The lights are very good in exposure, so those are fine, but we're just going to mask out these shadows. We need to mask in the ambient for here because we see that this is where the flash is, and that's fine. I think that you did a great job there. We may need to bring in ambient into the shower back here, so we may use that. We need to bring in the ambient to get rid of this. This is a reflection from the ceiling light again. And obviously we got to do some major perspective corrections, but that's okay. So we also have barrel distortion, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. Anyway, so I like how this looks. And I'm not going to really do anything else to the flash shot. So let's highlight both of those. Let's go back and forth. Let's look first. I want you to go, especially when you're just learning to do this, go back and forth for each of the issues. Now, is the ambient shot going to be good for me to mask in here? It is going to be good to mask in, but I'm going to get a lot of this color cast. So one thing I want to do is let's just go down here and try and do the obvious thing first. Take our eyedropper tool, click on it, and then go. I like to go inside the sink bowl. I don't know why. It's just what I do. Let's go hit the white. And it is now, let's look at the color. Well, it certainly made this color pop, but look at up here what we're using. Is this any better? Well, it's not really much better. So let's go back and I'm going to take away, I'm going to go back into reset, okay? And I'm going to go back into just take out my highlights and in about just under a stop, okay? So here then, I guess what I'm going to do is try and get rid of some of the yellow. There we go. Oh, that looks pretty good. So let's go between the flash, and that's going to match pretty good right there. I trust me, I think it's going to work. Okay, now let's look back in here into the shower area. I think that'll work fine for that. Let's look at the ceiling up in here. You know, it's a little dark, so what I might do is just do this. My local adjustment brush, I'm going to give it about a stop, and I'm going to go down to 50% flow and 60% density. So let's go into here, and let's just lighten this up a little bit. Okay? Good. Awesome. This is going to work well. Okay. So now let's go back and look at that. It's going to mask in really well. And you'll see we also have, we can actually lighten up down here too. I'm going to lighten up. Let's go in and make another one. I'm going to just do new one. And I'm going to bring it up just over a stop. Okay, so let's just lighten this up a little bit. Lighten that up. Okay, so I think we've got a good thing going on. Let's go back and forth between the ambient and the flash. And I think it's close enough. So basically we have made the ambient as close as we can with local adjustments, with white balance, and with exposure and things like that. We've made it as close as we can to the flash shot. And all this can be done in about 1 minute if you really were doing it for real anyway, or me at least. So we've got these highlighted. Let's go here and right click, edit in as layers in Photoshop. Okay. And I'm going to show you something really important with this shot because I know something you don't know. But I'm going to show you that I really want to hit the, and you may want to do this in bathroom shots. Sometimes you get more movement in bathroom shots because it's real tight in the doorway. So I want to definitely highlight both my images, and I want to go up here into edit. I want to go in here to auto align layers and auto, and there we go. Let's see what we have here. Okay, so we have, look at this banding down here. So we can tell we needed to auto align this, and you'll see later why we needed to, and you'll see on the Jon's final image. So we've got the ambient shot on top, which is what we want. So just click on the ambient shot because we can only have one of these two highlighted. We want the top one ambient and the top one to be selected. Now we're going to go down here and we're going to make it the mask. 1, 2, 3. Good. Okay, so let's get rid of the obvious right here. Let's get rid of these shadows up here if we can. Okay, so now I've got to be on 6%. I'm on white and I'm on paintbrush, and I'm on a soft paintbrush at 21%. Okay, let's go here and let's just take this out. Okay, let's just mask that out. There we go. And the reason you use 6% is because, and you know what, I'm going a little bit over this light itself, but I'm cool with that. I'm also going to come in here and try and get rid of the shadow from the flash here. Let's go in here. And as always, my favorite saying is you can do as little or as much as you want. It's up to you. I just showed you the tools. So let's go here and let's move out. So actually we did a great job there. That masked in really well. So you can see the color adjustments and the exposure adjustments I did on the ambient shot fit in pretty well. Another thing you can do is shoot it once with the lights on and once with the lights off. So let's bring in here. And I'm going to go down this corner because you will notice ambient light on walls it's not all just one color. It changes colors. So let's bring a little ambient in here. And remember, I'm not going to be even using this corner right here, or this corner. I'll show you why. I never leave that in. Anyway, let's go in here now and see. Let's go here. Good. Okay, I'm adding a little bit of the ambient in here, and it's rolling over to my sink, but I'm not worried about it because what I'm going to do is hit X and then erase it from there. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to hit X again and go back in the paint mode. Let's take out this shine in the window, and we don't really need to worry about the view here because it is snowy outside and we just don't need to have it. So let's just mask in a little bit of ambient here. Let's mask it in here. So, and zoom into your work. When you're working, zoom in here. Oh, actually, I think that's is that a shine right there? Yeah, there we go. Okay. Just bugging me on the when I zoomed out. Okay, so we got that good. Now let's put a little bit of ambient here, down in here. Okay. Down around the toilet, or toilette as I like to say. Okay. And I don't like that, so I'm going to hit X and take that away. Let's just take it down from here away. Now, I don't have to worry about it. I'll take it off this wall, but I don't have to worry about it because I'm not going to use that wall. So, I think, I want a little bit of ambient in here. We have a little bit of shine, and wood is always tough. So, your ambient shot is really going to help to make the wood come without shine. Black wood like this, dark brown black wood, is a killer. Oh, I'm on X, so I'm not painting it. I apologize. So make sure you're on white to paint it in. I was wondering, why isn't this doing anything? There we go. It's bringing back a little more of this cabinet. And I'll bring just a little ambient there. A little ambient there. And I'm pretty fine with this. The main thing too is you don't want to spend too much time on a bathroom shot. Okay, the one thing before I bring it in I want to show you is really important. Actually, you can see this banding around the right and the bottom, and in a minute you'll know what I'm talking about. So I'm fine with this image, bringing it back into Lightroom to do my perspective correction. So I'm going to have Command S and W, and it's going to bring it back into Lightroom here. So let's see here now. Okay. Now, one thing I'm going to do is I am going to hit auto. You know what? This may not work well because we've got these doorways in here. Let's see what happens if we try auto upright. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, that actually, I'm not going to use it. I'm going to hit Command Z, go backwards. What I want to do now is do manual. Okay, and one thing, you know what? I'm going to hit auto again. I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth. You know, actually I do like auto because it helped with the wall in the background. Sometimes walls and mirrors do not correct properly. Okay, we still have a little bit of barrel distortion, so I'm going to just bring this here. Good. Okay, now I'm going to keep it locked in the original aspect, and I'm just going to bring it down into here, bring this to here, and that's just me. I don't like keeping in doorways in bathrooms. So you're allowed to do anything you want, but for me, that's it. Now, this is my finish shot. It's not my famous shot. It's Jon's shot. But anyway, I'm going to add in a little bit of a final bump here and a little bit of white to just give it a little pop, touch of clarity, and a little bit of shadow to bring that up. And I am very happy with this. It shows, well, I need to see, again, don't spend too much time here. It's showing the lights. The lights aren't really blown out. They're pretty good, so I'm going to take away a little of the highlights, and I'm actually going to take away just a touch of the yellow. Okay, so there's my finish shot, and I'm going to compare it with Jon's finish shot, not for any other reason than one thing I'm going to show you. So here's my shot, and here's Jon's shot, and my shot, and Jon's shot. Now, Jon's colors are pretty nice. Actually, those are really the colors of the room, although I don't know, maybe I like my colors a little better because they do sell the color. But anyway, it's neither here nor there. I think Jon's shot is really good. I just think the only thing for me, and Jon took out the walls, although let me see. He could leave it a little more to the right, which, you know, shows there's an electric. I think an electric plug on a countertop is fine because that shows that you can plug in your razor anyway. So that one, we don't really know what it is, but that's fine too. The problem is up here. Look at what happened here and here. So one thing we really have to do, and you can see it down here too, and over here. This isn't sharp because the layers were not auto-aligned. And this is not an issue here because I don't think he used any ambient shot there. So let's look here. Did we get any other issues? Nope. Oops, sorry. No other issues. And I don't think he used any ambient shot there. But I will say one thing. This is a big no-no. So, and it's right up in here where he did use the ambient shot. You have to auto-align your layers. So that's what that ghosting is. So anyway, I'm going to say, great job, Jon. Great job for... What was the other shot we did? Okay. Anyway, I think the other shot was Murray. So Murray and Jon, you did a great job. And I urge all of you to send me in some photos. You can send me in 1, 2, 3 sets of photos. Make sure that you go by the rules that are in the instructions on this YouTube video. And just send them to me. I may get to one of them. I may get to more of them. Like I did one of Jon's shots yesterday and one today. So get out there, get shooting, and send me questions, comments. And if you have any issues, let me know. Thumbs up, thumbs down. Please subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. And, let's shoot smarter, shoot better, aspire to shoot better, and get higher end clients and have more free time. As my buddy Mike Kelly said, take control of, and I listen to Mike Kelly, take control of your clients and dictate your turnaround time, dictate whatever it is to have more time with your family. So we all aspire to do that. And anyway, this is Rich with Rich Baum Photography signing off, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.